Somewhere along the California coast right now, there's a guy tying up his boat after a long sail. Salt still drying on the deck, lines creaking, maybe a little proud of himself. He walks up to the marina office to ask about a slip, expecting a normal conversation, maybe even a welcome. And instead of a handshake, he gets a polite version of no thanks. Not because he can't pay, not because he doesn't have insurance, not because he's a problem, because his boat is too old. There's no law in California or anywhere else that says your boat has to be under 30 years old. Nothing on the books, nothing official. But talk to enough boat owners and you start hearing the same thing over and over again. Marinas are quietly turning away older boats. Some people are told 30 years, some hear 25. Some don't get a number at all, just a vague, uncomfortable, we're not accepting vessels like that. It's not written down, but it's definitely happening, and if you own an older boat, you can feel it. Now, before we grab pitchforks and start yelling at all the marina managers, let's get one thing straight. Marinas are allowed to do this. They're private businesses. They can set their own rules. In fact, they already do it all the time. There's no law in California, for example, that says you need boat insurance, but try getting a slip without it. Good luck. So once you understand that, the idea of them quietly filtering boats based on age isn't that crazy at all. But here's where it starts to get interesting, because this isn't really about age at all. Age is their shortcut to get to where they're trying to get. What they're actually filtering for is risk and money. Older boats statistically have more problems. Electrical issues, fuel systems, neglected maintenance, the occasional surprise sinking that turns a quiet marina into a floating insurance claim. From a marina's perspective, that's a nightmare. One bad boat can damage docks, spill fuel, start fires, or just sit there turning into a very expensive problem that nobody wants to deal with. So instead of inspecting every single boat in detail, they use age as a blunt instrument. It's not precise, but it's efficient. And then there's the other side of it, the part that really drives the shift: money. Because marinas aren't just marinas anymore. They are real estate, waterfront real estate, which might be the most valuable kind there is. When you start looking at it that way, a slip isn't just a place to tie up a boat. It's a revenue slot. If you've got two options, a 1984 sailboat with a guy who fixes everything himself and spends very cautiously, or let's say a 2021 big powerboat with big systems and an owner who doesn't blink at a four-figure monthly bill, which one do you think the marina prefers? This is the part nobody really says out loud, but you can definitely feel it. Boating is starting to split into two different worlds. One world is polished, expensive, curated, the kind of marina where everything feels like a resort. The other world is a little rougher around the edges. Lines coiled on the dock loosely, tools out, people actually working on their boats. Somewhere along the line, those two worlds stopped overlapping. Now, you'll hear people say this is because big money is moving into marinas. You'll hear names like BlackRock thrown around. And whether that's fully accurate or not, whether it's a company or another investor group or just a general trend, the effect is the same. More money flowing into marinas, higher expectations, higher prices, and less tolerance for anything that doesn't fit into the new model. It's like how the Bahamas had a price increase recently. They're trying to tailor their clientele. They want quality over quantity. Less boats to worry about, but each boat pays a bit more, and they make the same amount of money for less work. It financially makes sense for them, even if it ruins our day in the process. Which brings us back to the guy at the marina office, because what he's really being told isn't just that his boat is too old. What he's being told is that he's not the kind of customer they're looking for anymore. And that's a tough pill to swallow, because for a lot of people, boating was never about that. It was about freedom. Buy a boat you can afford, fix it up, learn it, sail it, live on it when you want to. It wasn't supposed to feel like applying for a membership at an exclusive country club. So what do you do? Do you play the game? Do you pour money into the upgrades and surveys and cosmetic work just to make your boat look younger to pass some sort of inspection? Do you buy a whole new boat so that it is younger? Some people do, and to be fair, that can work. A clean survey, fresh rigging, a tidy deck, suddenly the old boat looks a lot more acceptable. But that's not really solving any problems. That's just adapting to it and trying to fit in someone else's system. And for some people, that doesn't sit right. I don't want to play a rigged game at all. So here's where I landed in my personal choices. Instead of trying to fit into that system, I just stopped playing the game. I came up with a rule, and it sounds ridiculous at first, but the more I've used it, the more it works in my life. I will only live in a one Walmart town. If a town has one Walmart, I'm very interested. If it has two, it's probably already too big. Now, I know that sounds like a joke, but think about that and what that actually tells you. A one Walmart town is small enough that it hasn't been completely swallowed by development. It's big enough to have basic infrastructure, good internet, but not so big that everything's been polished and optimized and monetized. And most importantly, the waterfront in that town hasn't been turned into a luxury asset yet. When you go to a marina in a place like that, the vibe is a bit different. You're not walking into an office where they're evaluating your boat like it's a financial instrument. You're talking to someone who probably knows half the people on the dock. They're not asking what year your boat is, they're asking if you can handle your boat, if you're going to pay them on time, and if you're going to be a problem or not. It's a totally different conversation. Because of that, older boats aren't automatically a red flag anymore. They're just boats. You'll see 70s boats, 80s boats, 90s, all tied up, all being used, all part of the same ecosystem. Nobody's pretending they're brand new, and nobody cares. In those places, function still matters more than optics. Now, is that philosophy perfect? No, you're not getting marble bathrooms and valet dock hands. Sometimes the power is a little questionable at the dock. Sometimes the dock boards creak like they've got stories to tell. And if something breaks, you're probably on your own to fix it. But here's the trade. In those marinas, they actually want you there. You're not interchangeable. You're not competing with a waiting list for higher paying customers. You're part of the place. And that changes everything, because when a marina values your business, you don't feel like you're constantly one rule change away from being evicted. You don't feel like your boat has an expiration date. You can actually relax, which last time I checked is kind of the whole point of why we bought boats in the first place. Now, could this marina trend spread? Yeah, it probably will. The pressure on waterfront property isn't going away. More money's going to come in, more marinas will get upgraded, rebranded, updated, repositioned, and more people with older boats are going to find themselves having the same conversation at the office door. So this isn't just about today. It's about where you choose to position yourself. You can fight to stay in places that are moving away from you, or you can move toward places that still make sense for how you want to live. For me, I'd rather be in a marina where nobody cares what year my boat is, as long as it floats, it's maintained, and I'm not causing problems. I'd rather be somewhere a little rough around the edges where people are actually using their boats instead of polishing their condos. And yeah, if that means there's only one Walmart in my town, that's probably a good thing anyway. Plus, in a one Walmart town, there's less traffic, so I can get to the boat quicker. So here's what I'm curious about. If you walked into your marina today as a new person, would your boat pass this unspoken test? And how many Walmarts are in your town? And while you're here, do you have some older winches on your boat? Check out this article called Giving Old Winches New Grip. A strip of 3M safety walk tape on the drum gave these tired Variant winches a fresh bite without the cost of new self-tailors. What a great article if you have a few minutes today. I'll leave a link in the description for you. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. It really helps us out, but also it lets YouTube know that you like sailing videos, so it'll show you more of them. How cool is that? And hit subscribe so I can see you again next time.